I think based on my personality, the way it is, I think in general I deal with stress, quite okay. I think it comes with part and parcel of being a psychologist. The first key is to understand that it's not the level of difficulty that we should be worrying about in quant or for that matter any section. I think again, I would really emphasize how important it is to understand every single topic fundamentally.
Hello everyone, welcome to Cracku interview series. Today we have a very interesting guest on our channel, Deepshikha. She's a dentist, psychologist, teacher, and an author. She took the CAT 2022 examination and scored 98.5 percentile, and this was her first attempt. She recently converted IIM Ahmedabad. Today she's with us to share her very interesting MBA preparation journey and also her IIMA interview experience. So hello Deepshika, welcome to Cracku interview series, and first of all a very big congratulations on converting IIMA.
Um, Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And yes, as you said, my profile has been quite unique. It did help me a lot once I cleared the CAT and I went through the interview phase. And as you said, this was my first time preparing for a CAT. And I think preparing for CAT exam has been the most challenging thing that I have ever done. And at the same time, the most rewarding thing that I have
Right,
ever done. And I'm just super happy that it's paid off in the end. And I'm excited and looking forward to joining IMA.
right. Yeah. Okay. Firstly, let's talk about your MBA journey. You have a diverse background. So
What inspired you to choose MBA and
once you decided to pursue an MBA, how did you start off your CAT preparation?
Right. So I've done my master's in applied psychology. So
Okay.
the entire premise of applied psychology is you understand how people think and behave, and you use that knowledge and you apply it in various fields, be it business or politics or whatever. So I've always been interested in business. I've always been interested. I think since I passed my class 10, I wanted to do MBA. Somehow it didn't materialize, and life has a funny way of bringing your dreams come back to you. So,
Right.
when I was thinking how to use my applied psychology degree, I realized that the best way to do that is to integrate it with a management degree. And I think it was sometime in December 2022 when I made this decision to start preparing for CAT.
Okay.
And that's where
Right.
I enrolled for Cracku sometime towards
Right.
the end of December 2021, sorry,
One.
December
Right. Right. Yeah.
2021. So, and I just dived into it. I think if you talk about my preparation strategy, so as you have mentioned, I come from a non-engineering background. I realize this nomenclature people
Right.
use, non-engineering female
Right.
when you're preparing for the
Right.
CAT exam. Um, People told me a lot of things that the CAT exam is going to be really difficult. The difficulty level of questions is a lot. The individual sections per se, the VRC, the LRDI, and quant is very difficult to crack. But I think the content videos that Cracku had provided, once I started watching those content videos and the daily target that you get, Sayali ma'am's videos were of great help. I have had many years of work ex, so it had been quite some time since I had actually picked up a book and studied, especially quant for me.
Right.
And but after watching those videos, I think the depth at which ma'am has gone and explained every single concept. I think it doesn't matter what background you come from, whether you're good at math or you're good at English or not. I think if you really watch each of those videos and religiously do that daily target, you
Practice
complete
and
it.
targets. Yes.
Yes, I think it really gives you great confidence that you can solve any difficulty level questions after that. So Kraku's content videos were my Bible, especially in the first 6 months of my CAT prep, because I just watched all of the content videos and I paid a lot of time and attention and focus on getting my basics sort out. Once I was done with that, and then I just focused on increasing the level of difficulty of questions that I was able to solve, and that's where practice and giving mocks kicks in. So that's how I've been
Right.
doing.
Excellent. Now, can you also tell us about your individual sectional strategy, particularly the quant section? Like you said, you have had many years of work experience and you haven't really gone back to solving quant. So, how did you tackle that section, and also how did you prepare for the individual sections?
Right. Uh, I think the first key is to understand that it's not the level of difficulty that we should be worrying about in quant, or for that matter, any section. I think, again, I would really emphasize how important it is to understand every single topic fundamentally. So that's how I dealt with it. So I picked up each of the topics and I really paid a lot of attention in understanding it, the basic fundamentals. Once I was done doing that, and once you practice a certain number of questions every day, and the daily targets give you that consistent practice of a certain
Correct.
number of questions. Also, an understanding, I think it's less about becoming a maths whiz. If you want, the goal is not to become a maths whiz, but the goal is to come up with a strategy where you'll be able to get a good percentile in cat paper. I
In
think that
cat, right?
comes a lot with understanding how the cat paper is, the breakdown of it, understanding your strength and weaknesses. Very early, I understood that my strength is, arithmetic and algebra, which for me was great because majority of the cat question paper is arithmetic and algebra. So I focused a lot on arithmetic and algebra. I realized very early that number system used to go above my head. So I think in my final
Yeah,
preparation, I left that part out. So I think everybody has to come up with a strategy what works for them. Realize which areas you're really good at and focus so that at least from those areas you can really answer all the questions. So that worked wonderfully for me. Uh, so that was quant.
right, right, right.
And when it
Yeah,
comes to
LRDI.
LRDI, yes, the dreaded LRDI. So when I initially started, I was not able to solve most of the LRDI sets. And again, I've gone by what Siali ma'am keeps, telling everyone that it's not so difficult. All you need to do is practice the ability of logical reasoning. And I think that comes with time. So LRDI needs patience. So what I did was I used to practice two LRDI sets daily, consistently for a couple of months. And by the time I was done doing that for 3 months, initially I would just see the solution videos. By the time I was done that for 3 months, I realized I was able to start doing it myself. So I think the key is just to be consistent. You just keep doing it.
Exactly, right.
So VRC for me was always my strength because I've always been fond of reading since I was a kid. But I do believe that for a lot of people who believe that English is not good, they believe they will not be able to do good in this section. I do not think English is what VRC tests us in. It's the same
Right.
logical reasoning that quant and LRDI is about. You need to just apply that reasoning in English form to just become good at VRC. So I think that getting rid of that mental trap is also very important. Anybody can become good at VRC if you just realize how to reason critically and apply that in the passage. So again, I practice consistently 2 RCs every day throughout
Right.
my 10 months of prep, and that is what helped me.
Excellent. So you started off with your preparation by first learning the basic concepts, and then
Right.
so how many months did you take to finish the basics, and then and then when did you start taking the mocks exactly, and how many dash cats did you take, and what was
Right.
your mock analyzing strategy?
Right. So I enrolled for Cracku sometime at the end of December. But in
Right.
all
Okay.
honesty, I think I did not pick up pace until beginning of February. So I think I took
Okay.
1 month in just orienting myself with, trying and
Correct.
understanding how I'm going to move forward. But
Right.
Feb beginning is where I started to get serious about studying,
Seriously,
and
yes.
that's where I started taking the daily targets and everything. I started mocks quite early. I think
Okay.
I gave my first mock in June itself.
Okay.
My course was not fully done in June, but I took my first mock, and I have given a lot of mocks. I've given every single dash cat, and I also gave every single past cat question paper that
Okay.
has been there. And I think the last 1 month was all about giving mocks and analyzing it. That was, I used to spend all of my time in November just giving the mocks and analyzing.
Mocks and right.
Right, because that's where I think you pick up things like speed and how to balance speed with accuracy. Because as I said, it's not so much about how much you know, as much as how good a strategy you're able to apply on the D day. So mocks help you polish that strategy of yours.
Correct.
So definitely mocks are a must. As many mocks as possible.
Great. All right, now moving on to the interviews. So, can you tell us how did you prepare for the personal interviews of IIMs, and how did you prepare for each stage of the interviews?
So I think the moment your CAT result comes out and you
Right,
start thinking about the interviews, you realize that preparing for interview is even more challenging than preparing for the CAT exam, because CAT exam
right,
has a prescribed syllabus. It has got these sections that you can focus on. Preparing for interviews, the unpredictability of it is,
exactly.
what is
Hi, yes,
scary. Right. So, I come from a background of psychology. So, I've always been good at academics. My core subject knowledge has always been very strong. I did brush up on my core subject knowledge. I took out all my master's books and I did go through them.
right.
However, what I did do was I knew that what is needed is here not depth, study in depth, whereas breadth of study. So I brushed up on economics, I studied finance, I studied marketing. I also read
Oh,
every single news that happened on geopolitics. I think the
right,
next 4 months were like a whirlwind. I was like a sponge absorbing
exactly.
whatever information was being thrown at me, and each interview was different. Somewhere they focus on GK, and somewhere they focus on academics, and somewhere they, doesn't matter, you come from a medical background, they'll throw
Right,
economics and finance questions at you. I think the best way to do deal with that is to be prepared. You just have to study across a variety of domains. There's no shortcut.
brilliant. So you have prepared quite rigorously for the interviews, and of course, I think that has paid off. And yeah, speaking of the interview experiences, particularly IMA, I'm sure given your profile, your diverse profile, and like good amount of work experience. So what kind of questions were asked based on your profile, and how did you tackle the interviews?
Right. um I think, based on my personality, the way it is, I think in general, I deal with stress, quite okay. I think it comes with part and parcel of being a psychologist. So
Okay,
handling
right,
stress was never that much of an issue with me. Having been said that, IIMA interview was one of the best interviews that I gave out of all. And when I say it was one of the best, it was one of the most comprehensive interview. It was the longest interview. It went on for almost
okay.
40 to 45 minutes. Uh,
Oh my,
I'm not
okay,
sure. When you're inside there, you don't really know how much
right,
time
right,
has passed, but I think 40 minutes. Uh,
okay,
they asked a lot of questions. They asked about the core subject. So I come from psychology background, so a lot of psychology questions, hardcore psychology questions. I don't know how they knew so much of psychology, being management professors, but they did. And they asked me. The first
right,
20 minutes was all core academics. Once you answer all of that, then they went into the current affairs. They asked me questions on economics, and I think one thing that they were looking for was the depth in your answer. For example, they asked me a question about why are banks increasing the interest rates, and they did not want to hear
right, right,
anything about the demand supply cycle. Is that we know, everybody knows that.
right,
That is
right.
not why inflation
Correct.
is there in India. So you tell us something that other people don't know. So when you go for these I am ABC's interview, I think they are not looking for the usual answer. So you really need to be prepared in depth. So they ask questions on finance. They asked me questions on. So I've worked in Raipur for some time. So related to my place of work, why are states breaking up? Is it really political? So they try to see your attitude probably and how well aware you are. So it was a mixed domain. I also feel that even though interviews are unpredictable, I think if you are just calm, you can drive the interview in the direction that you want. For me, I was told
Right.
that you come from a non-engineering background, so they're going to grill you in quants.
Yeah.
They're really going to ask a lot of quant questions because they want to make sure that your quant is strong. And the last part of my interview was exactly that. And I fumbled a
Right.
little bit in some of the quant questions, but I told them that I may not be that great in the quant that they are asking, but I'm
Right.
great with statistics because I've already done my masters, and they picked up on that cue and they asked me a lot of statistics questions, which worked in my
Okay.
favor. So I was able to
Right. Right.
answer those. So I think if you just keep your calm when you're not getting the questions correct, and you can just drive them into the direction where
In your
I'm good
direction.
at
Right.
this, test me on this. Maybe not every time, but sometimes it does work. So
Exactly.
it was a very comprehensive intro, but it was nice.
Brilliant. You actually handled it quite well. Now, yeah, finally, what is that advice that you'd like to give to the future CAT aspirants and also the MBA aspirants in general?
I think my first advice would be to not go by any stereotypes. Because when I first started preparing, I heard a lot of stereotypes that the CAT exam is going to be very difficult, that the quant will be very difficult for a non engineer. I hear people saying all the time, VRC will be very difficult for someone whose English is not strong. After reading so much and preparing for so long, I truly believe that I think the one thing and the only thing that preparing for CAT needs is consistent practice. If you just give it enough time and practice in good faith, I think it doesn't matter what background you come from, whether you're good in maths or English or not, I think it is possible for anyone to crack it. So I just hope that everybody out there, who's preparing, does not get stuck, especially if you come from, a profile. If you have a profile which is different from the so-called usual profile, or if you feel you're weak in
Right,
certain areas, it should not hold you back. And I think the second thing that I learned is a lot of people tell you you need to work on your weak areas. So
right,
if your quant is weak, you should practice quant more. If your English is weak, then you should work and improve it. That's very important. You should definitely improve on the weak areas. But what I realized works even more is working on your areas which are already your strength and making them even more perfect, because that section is the one which really pulls your percentile, beyond that. So for me,
yeah,
VRC was my strength, but I really studied VRC harder. So when I was getting 95, I wanted to take it to 99. When I was getting 99, I took it to 100 and it helped me in the end. So I think
wow,
working on your
wonderful.
strength is also important. You own it like no one else. And that's how you, get ahead of others. So I think that's the second and advice. And I just wish good
Right.
luck to everybody there who's preparing for the CAT exam.
Thank you so much, Deepshika. You gave some valuable insights. I hope it really helps a lot of CAT aspirants. Thank you so much for giving such valuable insights, and we wish you all the very best for your MBA journey at IIMA.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.